Yo, what is going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. So this morning on my Instagram feed, I saw an amazing and just really cool post from my day one closest friend in this hockey content creation space. My boy Marcussi posted these rankings of the 2014 prospect rankings, basically saying the prospects that were ranked higher than David Pastrnak back in the summer of 2014. And as you can see, they're very interesting. You got guys like Jonathan Drouin at number 1, Draisaitl all the way down at number 8, Michael Dowcall, and Pasta wasn't until 36. You look at some of the guys that barely even played in the NHL. So it kind of got me thinking, and I wasn't going to react to the 2014 list, but I thought it'd be a fun idea to go 5 years back. Instead of a full decade, go back to the summer of 2019 and see where ESPN had some of the bright young players in the NHL ranked back there. So this is basically going to be mostly 2019, 2018, some 2017, maybe even some 2016 kids, and see how these guys panned out, how they were looked at. Because I kind of remember who had like a ton of hype back then, but this is still 5 goddamn years ago, and you can imagine some of the guys in 2019 maybe didn't exactly pan out compared to others. So we are going to go through this right now from ESPN. I don't know why Adam Schefter's up here, the NFL guy, but ranking the top 100 NHL prospects for 2019, 2020, Chris Peters. As you can see, okay, Jack Hughes number 1, but Zadina, Dobson, Farabee, this is going to be fun. Jack Hughes number 1, okay, we'll go through the top 3. Jack Hughes number 1, that makes sense. He was a great prospect. He was one of the better first overall picks coming out, had like Nathan McKinnon level expectations, franchise player. He lived up to it. Capo Caco ahead of Cale Makar is pretty funny, obviously knowing what we know now. Capo Caco was looked at. He never should have went ahead of Jack Hughes. Some people said that he was like challenging him back then. That was all nonsense, but he was a very, very strong second overall prospect, the clear-cut second overall guy in 2019. But yeah, it just never really worked out. Still maybe can turn it around and become like a 50 to 55 point, like two-way second liner, in my opinion. But Cale Makar, number 3, it's good to see that they were giving him some love. He won the Hobey Baker in that 2019 season, and I think he debuted in the playoffs that year. So yeah, it makes sense why he's number 3. Obviously should be ahead of Capo Caco, probably going to be better overall career-wise than Jack Hughes, definitely, in my opinion. But let's go through the next 3. Quinn Hughes high, yeah, his freshman year at Michigan, what do they have? I don't think they have exact stats here, but he killed it. Well, actually, his draft year, he played at Michigan, and then he had another solid season. He would go on to walk into the NHL in 2019, 2020, and be like a 70-point pace defenseman, so that's good. Alex Turcotte, yeah, that stinks. It's interesting that they have Turcotte ahead of Doc, even though Turcotte went 5th, Doc went at 3rd, but it makes sense. Turcotte was a very, very good prospect for the U.S. national team, ahead of guys like Cole Caulfield, Trevor Zegras, Matt Boldy, but the concussions and all that really just derailed his career. Kirby Dach, I still have some faith that he can be a very good second-line center for the Montreal Canadiens, but he's got to stay healthy. The guy's never goddamn healthy. So up first, the first 6 all make sense. Martin Necas all the way at number 7. Kirill Kaprizov at number 8, 2015 draftee. But yeah, he didn't come over until the 2020 or the 2021 shortened season, which makes sense. I think in the KHL, he was like already like top 10 in scoring back here. He was a steal in the 5th round. Martin Necas is very interesting. I guess, yeah, he was amazing in the AHL there. Good player, but I mean like a 55, 60-point guy at this point. Not sure he's ever going to get back to the 70-point mark. Trevor Zegras, yeah, him falling to I believe he went at number 9 overall, was a little bit surprising. I still think that he was well worth that 9th overall selection and will bounce back. He is underrated right now. Next couple, Philip Zadina ahead of Cole Caulfield. I'm sure Montreal Canadiens fans are laughing at that right now. Zadina never worked out. Bowen Byram, a bunch of injuries. Yeah, Cody Glass, Bowen Byram, not good. Nick Suzuki has smashed expectations. Barrett Hayden at 15. Barrett Hayden looked like he was panning out after the 2023 season. His back half of the season, he had like 35 points in his final 50 games. He was playing with Nick Schmaltz and Clayton Keller. I still have like a little bit of hope for Barrett Hayden. Cody Glass, no, not at this point. He's not going to turn around. Bowen Byram, maybe in Buffalo. It's going to be interesting with all the left-handed defensemen that they have in Buffalo. They're just stacking him up. Maybe he can be a solid second pair guy or good second pair guy. Dennis Sanko. I remember this guy got waived like either last summer or the summer before. People were like, what is going on? He has all this potential. He has clearly never really hit on that. Noah Dobson, love to see that. He has definitely panned out for my New York Islanders. Jordan Kyrie's around the 70-point, 30-ish goal guy. Pretty solid. Eric Brandstrom, dude. Holy fuck. That is the guy that the New York Islanders traded in the Mikhail Grabovski trade in order to dump him. Then he got traded to Vegas, or traded to Ottawa in the Mark Stone deal. There was so much expectation, so much hype for him. He's in Colorado now. I think he's actually going to have a pretty good season in Colorado. His underlying numbers were strong for the Ottawa Senators, but yeah, never really panned out. This is funny. Matthew Boldy at 20. Stud. I think that he is very underrated right now. And then Vitaly Kravtsov, an interesting 3-pack here. Not panning out exactly. Branstrom, but maybe has hope. Matthew Boldy, stud. Kravtsov, bust, already playing in the KHL. Tippett, similarly. Tippett, stud. Podkolzin, still in the AHL at 22, 23 years old. Not so sure about that. The workhorse from Whitehorse has definitely panned out. Ty Smith, dude. Ty Smith's rookie year for the Devils, I thought that he was going to be legit. Again, this is just what's so funny about lists like this. Ty Smith at 25, Evan Bouchard at 28. Both of the Flyers guys, solid players. Joel Farabee only making $5 million the next 4 years is going to be a steal for them. Around the 50-ish point guy. Morgan Frost is solid, 45-ish points. So the Philadelphia Flyers did pretty well with these two guys. Definitely didn't develop the stars. Definitely not as good as Evan Bouchard at number 28. Batherson, he was a fourth or fifth round pick that just really, as soon as he was drafted, he just skyrocketed and started to play amazing. Boquist, where's Boquist right now? He's in Florida. After he got traded to Columbus in the Seth Jones trade. Maybe he can turn it around in Florida, but not that likely. Tolvanen got waived. That was very controversial. Like, everybody's like, what are they doing? He goes to Seattle. He's turned into a decent middle sixer. Batherson, yeah, I already talked about him. Newhook had a ton of expectations, and I still think that he can be a good middle sixer, second liner for the Montreal Canadiens, but not sure he's going to ever be that stud. Cam York, I still believe in as a 2019 draftee, that he could turn into a legit 45, 50 point top pair guy. Peyton Krebs, yeah, never really worked out. He's in Buffalo now at this point, I believe. Joe Veleno, okay player. Philip Broberg had a bunch of expectations after going 8th to the Edmonton Oilers. Miller, definitely better than a lot of these guys ahead of him at 37. He's a good second pair defenseman on a legit contender at this point. Rasmus Karpari is in Winnipeg now. Funny enough, the next guy, I don't even know who Christian, I'm not even going to pretend to that, but he's behind Adam Fox is behind Christian. The first guy that I don't know who the hell they are, Adam Fox is right behind them. He was very good at the NCAA's level in his junior year, then immediately walked into the NHL, put up 42 points, only played like 18 minutes a night because David Quinn's a goddamn terrorist. But yeah, Adam Fox at 40 is pretty funny here. He's probably going on the thumbnail. Ryan Poling, okay. Oliver Wahlstrom, I held out hope for him up until like this season. Bust at this point, but he's ahead of Moritz Seider. That is pretty crazy. Dante Fabro has played some pretty serious minutes in the last couple of years for the Nashville Predators, but nothing really special. Bremstrom, we're going to have some steals coming up. Arthur Kaliyev, Rasmus Sandin, that's a solid 1-2 punch. Kaliyev might get traded, but when he plays, if he actually gets some run, he can give you around 40 points. Sandin, when he first got traded to the Capitals, we were like, oh my God, he's exploded. He's turning into a top pair guy. Not as good this year, but I still think a solid piece for the Washington Capitals. Spencer Knight at 51. Hopefully he's out of players' sentence now. I think he can be a stud. Ty Dellandrea just got traded to the San Jose Sharks. Isaac Lundstrom. Yeah, we're starting to get into random guys. Nick Suzuki, not exactly panning out. Igor Shesterk. It's tough with goalie prospects. I can't kill them for this, considering the fact he was playing in the KHL. I like to make my separate lists of forwards and defensemen, and then goalies completely separate, because then you get shit like this. When a goalie really hits, you look like an idiot. When goalies just should be its entirely separate list. Alex Fermenton, yikes. Jack Studnicka was like the Boston Bruins' pride, and he eventually got traded in some type of Vancouver trade, I think, but they had so much expectations, as well as Nicholas Roberts. I heard for years these two teams' fan bases saying, oh, he's legit. Yusuf Alamaki actually has turned into a very good player once they waived him and he went to the Arizona Coyotes. Yeah, no clue who Alexei Hempo Niemi is. ABB. Samsonov definitely has panned out. Sorokin in UPL, 69 and 70. I'd say that they've overperformed their ranking spots on this. Keller Yamamoto, 73. Not that good of a season this year. Max Comtois is like out of the goddamn NHL. Thomas Harley at 76. He was 19th overall in the 2019 draft. And now if you updated this list, he would probably be top 15. Josh Norris, just heal up, man. Fix that goddamn shoulder, and you have smashed expectations. Nils Hoglander, obvious. He was a second-round pick in 2019, and now is killing it at the NHL level. Connor McMichael looks to be a solid middle sixer for the Washington Capitals. Myers had a decent NHL run. Alex Nylander maybe can turn it around. Demko at 91. Again, all these goals. They had all like the top goalies at least listed, like the guys like Sorokin, Shesterkin, Demko. Just a little bit awkward. Where's Jeremy Swayman at? They have Swayman late. That'd be funny. I want like 98, 99, or 100 to be like a stud. Dylan Dubé, yikes. And then Billy Henola. Who is the honorable mentions? Let's see who they missed on. Merzlikins. Ferravari is a good player. Mario Ferraro is a legit top pair guy. Top pair guy on the worst team in the NHL. Bode Wild. I believe he's the guy that didn't want to get vaccinated, and the Islanders had to ship him over to like Finland. Victor Olofsson had a solid run. Connor Timmins is the one that's on the Leafs right now and is actually maybe could get some minutes. But yeah, interesting. You got guys like Fox and Moritz Seider in the 40s. You got guys like Capo Caco second overall. Let me know in the comments, what do you think about this video? Do you want me to do other stuff like this, looking back 5, 10, 20 years ago on 20 years ago, the internet probably wasn't even a thing back then. But looking back on prior lists, let me know in the comments, what do you think about this? I'll be seeing you in the next one.